Hi there, welcome back to my views and news. Which are the highest threats to Ethiopian PM Abiy's government? How genuine are these threats? I go, in a live chat 2 days ago, a viewer asked this question. I thought of analyzing this question. I thought it was worth having a look at. I worked on it for the last, I've been working on it, and I believe there are six main threats to Ethiopian PM Abiy's rule and his efforts for another term. Obviously, he wants another term too. He was elected through a controversial election in 2021, which was boycotted, almost entire opposition. There are six main threats to him. I have compiled these threats in the order of from the highest to the lowest. The threat at number one is the highest threat to Ethiopian PM Abiy's government, his rule, you can say. Let's have a look at these six threats one by one. Firstly, Fano. I believe that the main threat to the Ethiopian federal government now is from the Amhara region. It does not mean that tomorrow Fano fighters will reach Addis Ababa and remove PM Abiy from 4 kilo. No. But if you analyze and compare all the other threats, perhaps this is the highest threat to the Ethiopian government. Fano is a relatively new anti-government movement. It was born last year, but I always say it has come a long way in just 1 year. Bigger, armed, charged, backing of people, and with a conviction that it needs to fight. So despite one after the other military operations being conducted, Fano is a here to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with. And gradually you're seeing that Fano fighters are trying to organize themselves. They were just a few militias led by commanders not known for military experience, but now Fanos of Gujjam, Fanos of Wollo, Fanos of Gondar have come under one zonal command structures, and they might form a central level command structure too. I believe now they have seasoned military officers, Amhara special force officers leading them. So the number one threat to the Ethiopian federal government is from the Amhara region. Number two threat. Interesting that the number two threat to the Ethiopian government is from Eritrea. This video is purely analytical. My views, it's not based on any report. This is based on my experience of covering Ethiopia. This is how I understand the security situation, internal and external, in Ethiopia. Second threat is from Eritrea. Though at this point of time, Eritrea is not interested in directly intervening in Ethiopia to remove Ethiopian PM Abiy. Tensions are there. Eritrea banned Ethiopian airline flights. Eritrea is part of a tripartite alliance against Ethiopia. Ethiopia backing Eritrean opposition groups. Eritrea, if it decides that it should now make a decisive move to remove Ethiopian PM Abiy, it could be threat number two to the Ethiopian government. How will Eritrea intervene? That's another question. That's a separate question that we can have a look at in some other videos. But that number two to Ethiopian PM Abiy is from Threat number 3 is from Somalia. Now, it does not mean that after the 31st of December 2024, a full blown war is going to break out between Ethiopia and Somalia. No, we're only analyzing likely scenarios. Somalia is adamant to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity. It calls the MOU between Ethiopia and Somaliland a serious violation of its sovereignty. MOU has not been implemented. Now, when Abdurrahman is due to take office this month, new Somaliland president will reconsider the MOU. Maybe MOU could be just discarded. It could be frozen. We'll have to wait to see. But if MOU is implemented, if a full-blown war breaks out between Ethiopia and Somalia, that could be a threat to PM Abi's rule, because it will be difficult for him to create internal unity in case of a war. Somali region could be seriously destabilized. Armed groups in Ethiopia, all of them might not support PM Abi's government. That could lead to weakening of the government and maybe collapse of the government. So threat number 3 is from Somalia. Threat number 4 is a very interesting threat, I think. I think if I think a joint opposition could be a serious threat to PM Abi's rule. Joint opposition of political parties or joint opposition of armed groups. Ethiopian opposition is definitely split. It could not unite to challenge the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, PM Abi's government. Same is the case with armed groups. TPLF managed to create a little bit of unity among opposition in US. 10 or 9 member alliance was formed against Prosperity Party. But then TPLF Tigray fighters suffered military losses and they had to retreat from Amhara far regions, and that alliance just became useless. If today Ethiopian armed groups or opposition parties decide to join hands on one point agenda, removal of the government of PM Abiy, that could be threat number 4 to the Ethiopian existing government. Threat number 5 is from the Oromo Liberation Army. Ola has long been announcing to reach Addis Ababa. It calls Addis Ababa Finfine. Finfine stated destination of the Oromo Liberation Army. It claims that from Valaga it has managed to reach the outskirts of Finfine, but still it's not in opposition to remove PM Abiy in coming days or weeks. You never know about future. Government is happy that it is successfully dismantling Oromo Liberation Army. Government claims that large number of Ola fighters is surrendering after Sani and Nagasa surrendered. Ola disagrees with the statistics given by the Ethiopian government, but people say Ola is going to collapse altogether. I don't agree with that. I still see Ola as a threat to the federal government of Ethiopia. But at number 5, I would place the Oromo Liberation Army. Number 6 threat, the least likely and the lowest threat is from Tigray. People would say, Sajid, Tigray has a standing army of more than 200,000 and you are placing Tigray at number 6. Tigray, yes, had over 300,000 fighters, around 300,000 fighters, but still, when drones were introduced, we saw that ADF supply lines were cut off. Mekelle is far away from Addis Ababa. TPLF has lost its presence in Addis Ababa. It's going to be an uphill task now to challenge Addis Ababa. Rather, Addis Ababa is deciding the fate of Tigrayan politicians. You saw what happened last week, that Getachew, Debretsion, Varid Sadkan were just being told by PM Abiy about what to do. TPLF is unable to solve its internal political disputes. Now, creation of a joint Tigrayan front against PM Abiy and then advance towards Addis Ababa is very highly unlikely. This threat is at number 6. This is how I see the threats to national security, internal or external threats, national security of Ethiopia. Let's see, maybe we could see a combination of 1, 2, or 3 threats. A compound effect might force the collapse of the government if it happened. I'm not saying it's going to happen. If it happens, let's see. Thank you for watching.